10 things you didn't know were invented in Bristol. Bristol isn't just a quirky, colourful city with independent spirit and harbourside views. It's also a cradle of innovation. Some of the world's most surprising and life-changing inventions began right here, from childhood favourites to game-changing technologies in aerospace, safety, and media. If you've ever wondered just how influential this West Country city really is, prepare to be amazed. Here are 10 things you didn't know were invented in Bristol, counting down from 10 to 1. 10. The beginnings of 3D printing in aerospace. Most people associate 3D printing with art projects or high-tech factories, but Bristol has quietly become a leader in aerospace 3D printing, helping shape the future of how we build planes, satellites, and jet engines. At the National Composites Centre and Rolls-Royce's advanced manufacturing facilities near Filton, Bristol engineers are using additive manufacturing to create complex, lightweight aircraft components. These parts are not only cost-effective, but more sustainable. It's cutting-edge science happening just minutes from Bristol city centre. This quiet revolution in aviation proves that Bristol is still pushing technological boundaries, especially in aerospace and innovation, an SEO-rich industry drawing global eyes to the city. 9. Underfall Yard, a Victorian innovation that still works. If you stroll along Bristol's historic harbour, you'll come across the Underfall Yard, a working dockyard that dates back to the 1800s. But this isn't just a preserved relic. Designed by civil engineer William Jessop, Underfall Yard introduced a sluice system that managed tidal water levels and reduced silt build-up in the docks. This Victorian invention allowed the harbour to function effectively for trade, shipbuilding and repair, and it still operates today using the same principles. What's more, this system was so ahead of its time that it inspired similar dock management designs around the world. 8. Hovercraft development on the River Avon. Although the hovercraft is usually credited to Sir Christopher Cockerell, it was in Bristol's River Avon that some of the earliest testing and development occurred. Bristol was home to aerospace giants like the Bristol Aeroplane Company, which contributed to many high-tech transportation experiments during the 1950s and 60s. Bristol engineers helped refine the prototype designs that would become the basis of the modern hovercraft. Their testing in local waterways was crucial to proving the feasibility of this new form of transport, capable of gliding over land and sea. While hovercrafts may not be common today, the idea of a frictionless, versatile vehicle was born in the same city that built Concorde. It's another reminder that Bristol has long been a launch pad for futuristic thinking. 7. The first photographic panorama. In the early 19th century, Thomas Horner, a Bristol-born artist and inventor, created the first 360-degree panoramic image. His enormous cylindrical drawing, completed for the London Colosseum, allowed visitors to be visually surrounded by the cityscape. It was a totally immersive experience, long before virtual reality or IMAX. Horner's use of visual perspective, height, and optics laid the groundwork for panoramic photography and cinematic storytelling. Though his work was eventually overshadowed by newer technologies, it remains a visionary achievement. So while modern content creators chase immersive storytelling, Bristol was doing it 200 years ago with paint, paper, and perspective. 6. The world's first bungee jump. On April 1, 1979, a group of thrill-seekers from Oxford University's Dangerous Sports Club, dressed in tuxedos and top hats, tied elastic ropes to themselves and jumped off the Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol. This wasn't just a prank. It was the world's first organised bungee jump. While they were arrested for their stunt, they also inspired what would become a global extreme sport. Today, commercial bungee jumping is a worldwide industry, but it all started on a foggy Bristol morning with a mix of madness and mathematics. It's a story that fits perfectly with Bristol's rebellious, risk-taking spirit. 5. The first commercial chocolate bar. Before Mars, before Cadbury's Dairy Milk, there was Fry's Chocolate Cream Bar, the world's first mass-produced chocolate bar, created in 1847 by J.S. Fry & Sons in Bristol. This iconic bar was the first time cocoa powder, cocoa butter, and sugar were combined in solid form to create what we now know as a chocolate bar. Fry's would go on to make the first chocolate Easter egg and revolutionise chocolate marketing in the UK. The factory may be gone, but the sweet legacy remains in every bar you unwrap. 4. The Black Box Flight Recorder. The Black Box Flight Recorder, a now standard aviation safety device, owes a surprising amount of its development to Bristol's leadership in aerospace engineering. While the original concept of the flight recorder came from Australian engineer Dr. David Warren, it was in Filton, just north of Bristol, where much of the testing, adaptation, and aviation integration occurred during the mid to late 20th century. At the time, Bristol's aviation hub, particularly the Bristol Aeroplane Company and British Aircraft Corporation, was at the forefront of civil and military aircraft development. Engineers here helped refine the technology to make black boxes more durable, heat-resistant, and reliable in crash scenarios. Their work ensured that the black box could withstand extreme conditions and deliver usable data after impact, saving lives and transforming aviation accident investigations. Without Bristol's contribution, today's flight recorders may not be as effective or widely adopted. It's another unsung example of how Filton's aerospace legacy quietly improved safety for millions of air travellers worldwide. 3. Wallace and Gromit. It's hard to believe, but Wallace and Gromit weren't born in Hollywood. They were born in a Bristol studio basement. Aardman Animations, founded by Peter Lord and David Sproxton, started as a humble claymation studio and went on to create global classics like The Wrong Trousers, Chicken Run, and Shaun the Sheep. From their early success with creature comforts, Aardman's creators were driven by the idea that you could do big things without leaving your hometown. The team has remained loyal to Bristol, and the city has, in turn, embraced them as cultural icons. Aardman's success helped transform Bristol into a centre for British animation, inspiring countless local creatives and bringing investment into the city's media sector. They've since won BAFTAS, Oscars, and the hearts of millions, all from a stop-motion studio tucked into the heart of the West Country. 2. Concorde, supersonic travel built in Bristol. Few inventions capture the imagination quite like Concorde, and yes, this sleek, needle-nosed aircraft that could fly faster than the speed of sound was largely designed, engineered and assembled in Filton, Bristol. The engineering that went into Concorde was world-class. The plane could cruise at Mach 2.04, over 1,300 miles per hour, cutting flight time between London and New York to under 3.5 hours. In Filton, engineers faced challenges like sonic boom management, high-altitude flight mechanics, and titanium heat resistance. Their work wasn't just fast, it was decades ahead of its time. When Concorde took its UK maiden flight from Filton in 1969, it wasn't just a milestone in aviation. It was a statement of Bristol's global relevance in engineering and aerospace. While the fleet was retired in 2003, one aircraft remains on display at Aerospace Bristol, where visitors can walk through it and feel the power of British ingenuity. 1. Ribena, a British favourite with Bristol roots. Taking the top spot is something nearly every British person has tasted but rarely thinks about. Ribena. Invented in 1938 at the Long Ashton Research Station, just outside Bristol, Ribena was originally developed as a vitamin C supplement for children during the Second World War. Due to citrus shortages, black currants, grown locally, became the best available alternative. Dr. Vernon Charley, a biochemist, discovered a way to preserve the vitamin C content in blackcurrants while turning them into a concentrated drink. And just like that, Ribena was born. It became a school canteen staple and a comforting childhood memory for millions across the UK. Over the decades, Ribena has evolved into a globally recognised brand, sold in more than 20 countries and constantly innovating with new flavours and sugar-free options. Despite its commercial success, its heart remains in the West Country, a brilliant example of how Bristol's scientific legacy continues to quench the world's thirst. Bristol might not shout about it, but it's one of the most quietly inventive cities in the UK. From chocolate bars to Concorde, bungee jumps to 3D printed jet parts. This is a city where innovation lives. The next time you're in Bristol, look closer. You might just spot the future. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.